Hey everybody, it's Joel Toppin here, and I've got the new Tank Duel with expansion number 1 and tank pack number 1 ready to go. Thought I'd show you a quick video about the module and what to expect. First thing you'll notice is it says Allied tank, Axis tank instead of Soviets and Germans. That's why I wanted to show you this video. Is the vehicles are all encapsulated in these tank mats. So to select your vehicle, you just shift and right click to select. You'll see there's a lot more to this menu now. Go all the way to the bottom, you'll see there's an option to select the British tanks or Soviet tanks. That just puts you into the right spot of the cycle so that you can use the cycle feature. And it's easier to use your keyboard once you've selected the mat to cycle through the different vehicles. So we're going to go ahead and select a British vehicle. And then we're going to do a Control plus on our keyboard to select, let's select the Crusader Mark II. We'll go ahead and take this guy. We'll do kind of the same thing, and we're going to select a Matilda. Let's find a Matilda in here. Something maybe from Operation Crusader, something you could expect from that. Now for the Germans, and we'll just zoom in so we can see this a little bit more up close. We'll slide over, right click. The Germans is kind of the same deal. You can select an Italian tank. And there's really two Italian vehicles. There's the M1340 and there is the Semovente assault gun. So what we'll do is we'll select the M1340, and over here, let's go ahead and select a German tank, Control-Shift-G. And let's cycle around. I want to find the Mark IV Special. There we go. That's a new one. And you can see the new tanks have a little symbol emblazoned down here. Okay, so there you go. That's how you select your vehicles. Pretty easy. Now, after you do this, you always want to, put down your new pieces on your tank mat. So if you shift left click to shift, left click and shift to select the mat, or you can right click to produce the pop-up menu. When you do that, you can see there's an option to place tank markers. You're probably familiar with that feature. It does a few new things now. It automatically will send the range to 800, which tends to be standard. And I put the move and the fire over here, not in the place that is necessarily going to be accurate for that vehicle, because I can't find a simple way to do that. It's way more trouble than it's worth, but I get it in the general area, so you can just, here for this vehicle, you're just going to have to adjust it manually. So the other thing you're going to have to do is, because it default places Soviet commanders, if you just drag a box around these guys, select them, then right click, you can replace them with British, and voila. You can go ahead and put the commander there, put the driver there. There's no assistant driver, so we delete him. Gunner, loader, boom, done. All set to go. We can do the same thing for our Matilda over here. I'm going to show you another tank. Let's just shift right click, choose the Brits, and we're going to find the M3 Grant. Oh, there he is. Now, M3 Grant's got some more crewmen to it, so we'll do a Control T. We'll put the move there. Fire level for the 37mm goes there. We're going to go ahead and put a bounding box around them and make these guys British. There's a commander, a driver. There's no assistant driver. They don't have wives on these tanks. Loader, we'll go ahead and put him there. Okay, you'll notice there's empty spaces. Open up the pieces tray, slide the tab over to find the British mat, and then what you can do is find a new gunner and just bring him on, and a new loader. Boom, you're done. Now, one more thing you got to do with the M3 Grant is you got to get a second fire level marker out of the tray for that vehicle. So I just wanted to make you aware of that difference for the M3 Grant. So there you go. Same sort of deal here for the Italians. We just shift and left click, do a Control T. There's all our markers. I just got to move the fire marker down. Put a bounding box around these guys, right click on them and choose to replace with Italians. And there's your commander slash gunner, a driver, assistant driver, a loader. And we just delete the gunner because the commander is always the gunner on the Italian vehicles. So there you go. That's how you do it. Now, I also added some right-click features, and I reorganized the tank mats, or the counter tray here. So the tank mats have all kinds of new options that produce markers from the pieces tray. First of all, the pieces tray, all the pieces you'll need for your tank mats are in individual tabs based on nationality. Then there's the combat tab, which has all your spotting markers, damage, hold down, peril if you're playing with Robata. Your ammo markers are here. Mine markers are in here. Flank markers are separate. They're a different scale. Trust me, it just looks better if I keep them in a separate tab. There's now status cards displayed a little bit differently than they were before, but it's the same general idea. You can produce those by shift, right click, and choose to place the on fire or broken. It'll generate a marker and put it in here, and then you can just delete those as needed. There's no decks of these in the game, is what I'm trying to say. If you go over to the scenario cards tab, all of the scenario cards that were formerly in the battle cards window, they are now in here, and you can produce as many of these as you want. You can clone them, you can delete them as needed. So there's the bridge, city square, hill 28 for a scenario, the minefields card, road, and here they come, which is another scenario card. So all that's found in there. The other thing that we have is a tab for your infantry, your anti-tank guns. It's all included in here. So all the counters are going to be in a sub-tab. So there's all your infantry counters. There's your gun emplacement counters, range, and the order icons counters. And these counters, by the way, they can be produced, I'll show you in a second here, by the anti-tank guns themselves. So all your infantry cards are found in here, your anti-tank guns. So just for grins, let's put a 88, flak 88 here, and the space between the tank mats is ideal for these. You can then right click on it and choose to emplace him in cover. You can flip the cover to a deeper level of cover or keep it at cover 20. You can put order icons on. You can adjust those up and down in value, delete them as needed, produce more of them. Put a range marker down. Now, if you don't want your opponent to see this, you can do a Control H on it and hide it, then use your Control plus minus to increment the range. Then just do a Control P to peek at the marker, and only you will be able to see what's on the other side. When you click away, of course, you see what everyone else sees. So you can use that to confirm that you got the range set. It increments at 200-yard intervals. And so all these pieces, they're actually found in here, but they can be generated by right-click is what I'm trying to get across. The minefield will also generate the minefield counters as needed. So just pay attention to how the pieces are organized a little bit different than they were before. One more thing. The Italian infantry, it's now Axis infantry. So you have both Germans and Italians are going to use the same two infantry cards, whether they're in city or not in city. And then there's the infantry advance card that's also found in the infantry and anti-tank guns tab. Robata just has the move card for Robata. This is the card that's just your basic standard. It's moving. These you generate, you can delete them as needed from the Robata tab. I'm going to add a clone and delete feature to those. I just realized I didn't. So that'll be something that you can clone and delete to make that a little bit easier. Just remember that the Robata peril counter is found in the combat tab. All right, lastly, we have the scenario cards, Robata, conditions. These are all the condition tiles. These are those big 1-inch counters. Those are all found in the Conditions tab. And then I have a little Playtest tab that I'm just tinkering around with things on. It won't be in the edition that you're using. One more thing I want to show you. How do I use the battle cards now? Well, we reorganized this window. So if you're going to play a desert battle, then all the cards you need for open desert are in this stack. Everything for rough deserts in this stack, and to move them into play, you just right-click on the stack, choose to add it to the top deck for deck creation, and boom, you're ready to go. That's all you got to do. If you want to use the alternate building cards in the desert, this is cards 65 and 66, what you'll want to do is open up one of these. Let's say we're using Open Desert, we're going to choose to draw specific cards. We're going to find card number 66 and 65. Select them both, click OK, drag them away, just get them out of there. We'll just put these two guys in there, dump them in there, send this to the top deck for deck creation. Let's go ahead and make this a 4-deck game. So we do that by right-click, and there's no counters for this like there is in the physical game. We use this feature in the module instead. And then we'll choose to create a deck, and then you're going to count to 30. I don't know why it takes so long. I've never been able to get it to take any less time, but it will create the deck for you. It'll put the shuffle card in for you, and boom, there it is. All set to go. You're ready to play in the desert. So your card draws will all be in here, and you can see the new desert terrain is in there. So that is the new Tank Duel module. I added some charts to the module, and these are based on the type of tank, not the type of gun. So you'll notice that the Crusader and the Cruiser both have the 40mm quick-fire Vickers 2-pounder. And so the image is virtually the same between those two vehicles. This just makes it easier. If I know I'm the Germans and I don't want to have to keep scrolling around, I can just pull this up and say, okay, I know I'm facing up against a Crusader Mark II. This is what I've got. This is his armor rating. This is what I've got on my vehicle. It just makes it easier, I think, for players. So we have this for all of the vehicles included. They're organized by tab. And so here's your 2 Italian vehicles. All your Germans are in here. Soviet vehicles, including the new T-26 and the KV-1 M40. All of your anti-tank guns are also in here, as well as the anti-infantry cards. All that stuff is in here. So if you don't want to have to keep looking at the card itself, you don't drag these around. You just open this window. It's a quick reference. All the condition cards are now found in here. I found that I didn't need the physical cards, so I just put them in here so you can quick reference the different conditions, which is useful when you're playing with the North African Dust or with the new Night Battle rules. So there you go. All your charts are in there. We're going to be making this thing available to you this weekend, so hope you enjoy this new version of the Tank Duel Vassal module.